Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with Grimgor, Ironhide, and the Greenskins. They are going to be taking on the Dwarves. This is a viewer-submitted replay, and anytime we can see Grimgor in action is a great time, so let's get to it. Grimgor with 4 Black Orcs, very good against the Dwarves, obviously. Not the type of build I like to go with, but still very strong. Warlords Boys and Night Goblins out to the flank, with more Night Goblins out on this flank. We've got Tief Rabbahs, the Regiment of Renowned Chariot, Rusty Heirs, Orc Boys, Orc Boar Boys, and some Squig Herds scattered around as well. For the Dwarf Army, it looks like we've got a mix of Dwarf Warriors, some Longbeards with great weapons as well, a couple of Iron Drakes, 2 Flame Iron Drakes, and 1 Trollhammer Torpedo. We've also got some Rangers, Dwarf Warriors, plenty of Miners with blasting charges, Giant Slayers, and Thorgrim Grudgebear leading the way. So the 2 faction leaders for the Greenskins and the Dwarves going to be duking it out here. You can see Thorgrim reading his grudges from the book there as these 2 forces make their way towards each other. We're going to be getting a nice frontline clash here. Let's zoom in for some close-up cinematics. The Dwarf player is going to get an excellent play here where he sort of turns these Iron Drakes to fire on the Goblins that are running around the side. Blasting charge is going to hit the Orcs in the front line, and then these Goblins that are running through to the second line just get absolutely roasted, and that's what we'd like to see. Huge amount of HP damage. The Black Orcs aren't going to take much from the blasting charges, but they will take some. The Iron Drakes, though, being used on the light Goblin units is a very good play there. They don't have the best AP values in the world, but they can roast out those low leadership, light armor Goblin units very easily. The Warlords Boys have made their way around as well, but they are getting flamed. But you can see here, Black Orcs in the center suffering pretty badly to those buffed up Dwarf Warriors with Thorgrim and everything. But here come the cavalry. Squig Hopper's going to get in here and interrupt these the Trollhammer torpedoes, and then likewise the Iron Drakes roasting out these Goblins here are finally going to get charged by these Orc Boars in just a minute. Maybe. Yep, here they come, coming around. Unfortunately not in time to save the Warlords Boys, but still 60 kills in a short amount of time on that unit of Iron Drakes. Over on this side, these Iron Drakes also get charged by the Orc Boar Boys, just regular Orc Boar Boys here, which is actually very interesting. They don't have the best stats in the world, but they actually can get some really cost-effective work done in this matchup, especially while Waaagh is active. You can see them doing a good job there. Night Goblins just kind of tiding things over here, bogging down these Rangers, not allowing them to fire very effectively. Unfortunately, these Black Orcs just got caught up in overwhelming numbers of armor-piercing Dwarves, and it's not going to go great for them. But over on this side, things are looking quite a bit better. And in the center, oh man, I've been missing it. But Thorgrim decided to go with this Rune Lord to try and take down Grimgor, but this is a huge mistake here. Grimgor is just taking Thorgrim to Pound Town. He is taking some damage as well, but Thorgrim definitely going to get the south end of that engagement. You can see the Squig Hoppers coming back around to support. We've got regrouping Black Orcs as well. Those Dwarf Warriors had overchased a little bit, and now the Rusty Heirs are punishing them quite badly for that mistake. So, yeah, Thorgrim going down here is going to be a big problem for sure. You can see, though, that the High King buff is going up off map-wide for units on which it's applicable. Dwarves are able to somewhat secure these Iron Drakes here. A little bit of friendly fire going on, but this part of the area is secure. This part of the battlefield is secure, I should say. And then the Black Orcs and Squigs. Looks like a Squig herd in here as well, actually, enraged, taking out those Dwarf Warriors. So Black Orcs and the Goblins should be pushing forward to kind of make their final push here. Obviously, the Giant Slayers don't necessarily want to be taking that melee engagement. It's not super cost efficient for them. But meanwhile, the Runesmith got pounded on a little bit by the Grimgor. Thorgrim going to probably be chased away by these Squig Hoppers, I would think, or maybe by those Black Orcs. But these Black Orcs and Goblins running in here against the Giant Slayers. Again, not an ideal situation for the Giant Slayers, but the Miners, Dwarf Warriors with great weapons are going to try and get in here, hold things back. A nice roast point blank from the Iron Drakes as well. Right into the faces of those Black Orcs, doing some really good damage. But the Black Orcs are just pushing through. Orc Boars being used to chase routing units. Same thing with the Chariot here. The Greenskin player has done a great job in general of chasing routing units as much as possible. You can see the Squig Hoppers are chasing Thorgrim. They're taking chunks out of him as well. And then the Runesmith getting eaten up by Squig Herds here. Grimgor probably wants to go over and put a beating on there as well, but looks like he's got the Hammer of Karak Draz on him, so he's kind of hanging back for the moment until that wears off. But yeah, things are looking pretty good for the Greenskins at this point. The Black Orc advance just pushing through hardcore. The Dwarfs really don't have a lot of answers at this point. Most of their missile play is offline. You can see the Iron Drakes are still online briefly, but again, they're not going to do the most armor-piercing damage against the Black Orcs, and we'll see. The leadership effect certainly does help, but there's just so many squigs. The fact that the leadership is gone for the dwarves, you know, Thorgrim's down, the Runesmith is routing off the battlefield, getting shot up by Gobos, and now another Waaagh going to be popped, map-wide, just another huge timing push. Squigs charging in, we've got the Black Orcs grinding it out in the front line. You can see the dwarves quickly are losing their leadership and catapulting towards army losses. It's only a matter of time before they lose out here. You can see that Runesmith just getting an absolute shower from the Rusty Arrows there. The Iron Drakes finally get shut down, and with the last of the missile play shut down, it's pretty much going to be GG. We'll see. These Giant Slayers might be able to catch this one Wolf Chariot, but it looks like he's able to finally squeak away there, do a little bit of damage, and the Night Goblins, again, very effectively, these tattered Night Goblins being used to chase off all these routing Dwarf troops so that they can't come back and make an impact on the battlefield. So yeah, very fun battle, more of a traditional Greenskin style build. You know, I tend to take the all Goblin Vanguard shenanigans, but it's nice to see a classic, you know, Black Orc rush just ripping through the dwarves. Very tough to deal with, absolutely, and certainly there are some troops on the dwarf roster. I don't think that this is necessarily the best build in the world. I definitely think that there are some things that you would want to change up. It certainly did okay, though. You can see the Black Orcs, certain units, or one unit I should say, didn't do well. The Night Goblins all got roasted out pretty well by the Iron Drakes, but then just some of these Black Orcs, 104, 90, 122, just a huge amount of kills, and the Boar Boys actually didn't end up getting that many kills at the end of the day, but the fact that they were able to shut down high-value units, mainly these Iron Drakes, does mean that they were able to provide some really good value there. Likewise, these other mobile units just kind of ping-ponging around, not allowing the dwarves to really get a good engagement, and of course, Grimgor taking Thorgrim to Pound Town there. Very rough stuff. Personally, I think that in this matchup, the Skolder Guard might actually be a good option for the dwarves here, because they do such a high armor-piercing damage. They also have really good armor-piercing explosion damage. They're actually very good against Black Orcs. They can take them down quite quickly. Personally, I don't think you necessarily want to take the great weapons, just because you really don't want to be, you know, in the melee fight. You're not going to be wanting to win with your melee units, per se, so Dwarf Warriors is just a little bit cheaper. The shielded ones, that is, have better melee defense, so they're a little bit better in that way, in my opinion. Thorgrim's okay. He's just super expensive, though, so I'd probably, against the Greenskins, take Belegar. That's going to give you expert charge defense so that you can negate the charge bonus of their infantry. And he also has Revenge Incarnate to boost himself up a little bit there. Hammer of Engrund you could also take, but at the very least you're going to want to take the Mighty Oathstone to give that expert charge defense. And let's see. Whoops. That does, yeah, it's a pretty good buff. If you took both of these, he'd be a little bit more expensive, but he would be a little bit better of a duelist as well, so it might be worthwhile. And then from there, the one Runesmith with the Rune of Wrath and Ruin is always a good idea. Let's see. Gyrocopters are very good in this matchup. Both the Steam Guns and the Steam Guns are probably a little bit more cost effective. The Brimstone Guns can be good, but they're not, you know, they're probably a little bit better against shielded infantry. Or, sorry, not shielded, armored infantry. So if you're really worried about Black Orcs, maybe you take a couple of them, you take a couple Steam Guns, and then from here, you can do some different things. The Goblobber's pretty good for the leadership debuff, and you're probably going to want at least one unit of Slayers here. So at this point, we really could maybe afford one more unit of Miners. Something like this, I think, could be pretty solid. It does feel a little bit light on traditional ranged units, so I might cut a couple of these Gyros and bring like some Thunderers or some Rangers, some more traditional type ranged units. But in general, I think that the Skolder Guard are going to be a pretty decent pick here. The leadership effect from the Goblobber as well. If you can compare that with a regular Iron Drake, both of them have a Discourage effect. One has Burnt and one has Proper Discourage, which means that because they're different effects, you can layer them on top of each other, giving it minus 24 total leadership, so that's pretty powerful. Definitely some different ways you can go, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How would you go about countering with the dwarves the traditional sort of black orc rush there? Obviously not getting Thorgrim killed by Grimgor would be a big part of that, but yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.